Hi, everybody. Kevin Ioli from Yahoo Sports, and here is the man, Daniel Cormier, who is going to be fighting Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight championship, the big one, not the
Big boy.
junior title, the
The
big
big boy
title,
belt. The
the
big
big
boy
boy
belt.
belt. That is
Yep.
going to be July 7th. But first, we got the Ultimate Fighter starting. DC, one of the coaches. How are you, Daniel?
I'm good, Kevin. Man, I love this new FaceTime you got going.
You do? You like kind of seeing me laugh at your jokes and everything now?
Yeah, I do. I like it. You before I tell a joke, and I would have to kind of guess whether or not you enjoyed it. Now I can see it written all over your face.
I had to go look it up to figure out what it meant first. That's how I was. Look it up online. Say, oh yeah, I get that DC funny. Now we have it right here together.
Got it right together.
You have been a coach for a long time, so it's nothing new for you to coach the Ultimate Fighter. But I wonder, do you feel like when you know you're going with the future of MMA, do you approach it differently? Because to a large degree, the Ultimate Fighter can make or break a young guy, right? And so do you have to approach it a little differently than you would just like, hey, one of your wrestling kids or somebody that you have in camp for a long period of time?
I think we approach it a little different, but not too much. When you go in there thinking that you're going to change these guys, it's the wrong approach. You have to go in with the idea that you're going to try to add to whatever they already have, get them in great shape, and get them to the point that they trust you. So that when you're cornering them, they listen to you. Because in 5 weeks, you're not going to change these fighters that are 10-0,
Right.
11-0, 9-0, 7-0. What they've done to this point works. So you got to just add to what they have, build a confidence in you to where they listen when you're trying to coach them.
Well, you hear, I think, a lot of the hardcore fans, everybody complains about everything. I'm over the Ultimate Fighter. I don't like it. But as I look at it, it seems like it's producing elite talent still. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Do you see any fighters on this show that could fall into that realm that they, either in a year or down the road could develop into an elite fighter?
I think a lot of them can, but
Really?
there are a couple. Yeah, these are good fighters, Kevin, and you're gonna notice it right away. But there's a kid uh, that is on the show. He's a big, tall kid that has an ability to be good, named Luis. Uh, uh, there's just a number of guys. Jay Cuccinello is another good one. Uh, Bryce Mitchell, Tyler Diamond. Um, Mike Trezano. They're all really, really good fighters. These guys are so talented and so well versed. You don't even understand that they're just going on the Ultimate Fighter. Even guys like T.J. Dillashaw, who's a
Right?
champion now, one of the best fighters in the world, he seemed raw on the show.
Right.
These kids today are way more developed at this point than some of the guys that were champions that are coming out the show. And when people say, Kevin, that they're over the Ultimate Fighter, I mean, in the later seasons, guys have become champs, right? Rose Namajunas
Right.
was on what, season 21, season 20 or something like that.
Right.
Uh, I mean, now we've had Bisping, Evans, Whitaker, Namajunas, Esparza, Dillashaw, Tony
Matt Serra. Don't
Ferguson,
forget Matt Serra.
Matt Serra, Tony Ferguson. You've had about 8 or 9 people that have been on that show that have become UFC champions.
Right.
So obviously, it's doing something.
Is it a mental exercise as much as anything? Because you kind of wonder, hey, everybody's physical skills are what they are, but the fact that maybe your confidence grows because you see you're in that and you can deal with that environment. Do you think there's anything to that aspect of it, Dan?
I believe it is, especially for a guy like Michael Chiesa, who was on for 15 weeks.
Right.
He did the live season. He was on for 15 weeks. I feel there's a toughness that comes with going through that process. Because even for guys like me who went from Strikeforce into the UFC, we didn't have to deal with that. I mean, that is a tough, tough thing to get up every day. Go to the gym, go train, go home, be around all these. Get up, go back to the gym, go train. Be around all these guys when you leave. No wives, no girlfriends, no internet, no TV, no nothing. It's a real test of your mental ability to go on the Ultimate Fighter and be successful on the Ultimate Fighter.
I want to talk about your fight with Stipe, but I first want to ask you about another, what I think was the ultimate test of somebody's mental fortitude, and that was Khabib's performance against Ally Quinta, and the fact of what he was able to do in light of, hey, look, that attack that Conor McGregor did on the bus was directed at him. That was directed at Khabib, and he went through a situation where he was fighting Tony Ferguson, then he was going to fight Max Holloway, then maybe Paul Felder, maybe Anthony Pettis, and ultimately it was Ally Quinta. Can you understand, or can you help me to understand what he had to go through and how difficult it was for him to just keep everything together?
Oh man, I mean, I think people take for granted what Habib went through. You know, I went through one with Jones on Wednesday to Saturday fighting Anderson Silva, and it tore me. It made it very difficult. But for him to go through those opponents under those circumstances, get attacked on the bus, deal with still having to do media, and all through all this, Khabib still having to do press conferences, having to do embedded, having to do all this stuff, and then go out there and fight, and ultimately he gets it done. I think that tells you what it meant for him to become the UFC champion.
Right.
Because he tried to keep his eye on the prize, that regardless of all the white noise, all the distractions, my sole focus needs to be on whoever's in the octagon on Saturday night. We didn't know until Friday
Right.
night who he was fighting. I mean, not many guys could strive in that situation. And it was just the ultimate trap. You know, it was the ultimate trap fighting a guy who in Ally Quinta, I believe, is a lot tougher than he's ranked. I only feel he's ranked so low because he doesn't fight very
Hasn't
often.
been
So,
active, yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
it was a trap spot. It was a trap spot for him, but he got it done, and I'm very proud of him.
Let me ask you one thing. I would regard you as maybe the conscience of MMA, in your position as an analyst on television, and you're the guy that, you speak truth to power and that type of thing. And I wonder, like, what do you make of what Connor did? I mean, obviously, to me, it was a horrendous thing. You're endangering people's careers. I mean, not
Yes,
forget one
yes.
fight. You're endangering their careers. And he's obviously the biggest star in the sport. What should be done with him? Should he be allowed to fight again? Should he get a long suspension? What do you think should be done? And what do you think is going on that would motivate a great athlete, a great fighter like Conor McGregor to display this kind of thuggish behavior?
You see, so first off, I know what's going through his head. You know, his buddy, one of his best friends at Lobov, got smacked around and all that other stuff. And the problem is, the Lobov situation isn't even about Artem for the majority of the part. It's about Khabib and Connor,
Right.
and Artem got drawn into it. So I understand him saying, this is essentially my fight. You got caught in it. I want to defend you and defend your honor. I get that. What I don't agree with is the action and the way he went about trying to defend his friend. You know, there are just so many better ways to approach that. He could have went up to Khabib in the hotel and spoken to him. But yeah, he put those guys in danger. I think he's going to pay a lot for it. I think, excuse me, I believe some of these numbers that these people are throwing out there is crazy. I heard something like Stephen A. Smith or somebody said $30 million. That's insanity. It's
Right.
not going to cost $30 million. It's going to cost him some money to take care of Chiesa, take care of
Ray
the kid
Borg.
from Jackson's, Ray Borg. It's gonna cost him, but it ain't gonna be $30 million. I just think that he has to really remember what he means to the sport and what he means to the general public and people watching.
Do you think people are going to still like him now, given that, or is he going to have to kind of now? I mean, before, I think even though he had a lot of antics, he was a beloved fighter. But do you think he can still be that same guy?
I think his behavior's been a tad bit erratic. And the one thing that people don't like is erratic behavior, where they don't really know what you're doing next. But as we saw with Jones, the issues did not lead to people completely turning their backs on him. I think because of his ability to fight, and he's such a special talent, people will accept him when he comes back, but be a little more weary of him because of that erratic behavior, he could go off the deep end at any time, as we saw in Brooklyn.
Let's transition to your fight, because to me that's one of the fights that I'm really most looking forward to, and I actually called for that fight. I think in an interview with you before you fought Volkan, I think I mentioned that is a possibility to you going down the road. So, it seems to me that this is all win for you and maybe a no-win situation for Stipe. He loses to a guy
Yeah.
that, is a light heavyweight who's shorter, who doesn't have the length and whatnot he has. That's a tough thing. So how do do you have to kind of mentally just kind of try to pile the pressure on him over these next 3 months to try to, make him feel that burden?
I think he understands what he's facing. He's facing a situation where it's win-win for me, and like you said, lose-lose for him. But reality is, if he does not fight his best fight, I'm going to beat him, and I'll beat him going away. So even though to the general public, he understands that, oh my God, this dude has everything to lose, nothing to gain. But to him and his team, they recognize my ability, recognize my skills, and recognize what I bring to a fight. So it's like he may be going, hey, you guys are kind of saying that this is all loose for me, but reality, it's a tough fight. This is a really, really tough fight for Stipe Miocic, and I've made a career of taking guys out like that, bigger, stronger, faster guys, and I intend to do the same thing to Stipe.
When he fought Francis, it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. He's going to have to go in there, and Francis is going to have to prove he could defend the takedown, which he could not. And it became an easy fight for Stipe, once he got on the ground. In your case, I think, he's going to look and say, well, DC probably has the better wrestling, so I'm going to have to try to stand up and slug. If this becomes a stand-up fight, he's got a great jab, and he's got a lot more length than you do. Can you win a stand-up fight against Stipe?
I can. I want to stand up fight against Alexander Gustafsson, who's taller than Stipe, who supposedly has this great, outstanding boxing. So yeah, I mean, and the guys at 205 are faster. Stipe is a fast guy for a heavyweight, right? You
Right.
got to say for a heavyweight, and I just don't think he's as fast as some of the guys that I fought. Anthony Johnson was one of the fastest guys I've ever been in there with. He was so explosive, so quick. I'm not sure many people across the weight classes can match that. So I've seen that type of speed. I'm not sure Stipe's seen my speed up at heavyweight.
Two or three questions more. So I think you said you're going to be about 235 weigh in.
I've changed it. I'm gonna probably be. I want to be between 228 and 232 max.
Okay. So
I've decided I want to fight. I want to weigh when I fight 205. I usually weigh about 227 because it allows me to push harder. This is gonna be a hard fight, and I'm gonna need to push for 5 rounds.
and so my question would be this. I mean, I think there's got to be a hit to your speed if you come in 20 pounds higher than you're normally used to.
Mm-hmm.
So the advantage that you just talked of, doesn't some of that wither away because you're adding bulk and you're going to be stronger, but maybe slower?
I don't, but even at 205, I fight at about 227.
Mm-hmm.
But right, because it's water that I cut that I just pile back on. Whereas now I'll be a healthy 227, eating every lunch, even eating every meal, fully hydrated. I'll be the exact weight I am before I start to cut weight, and I think that is my optimal competition weight.
So if you win and you're going to end up having two belts, are you going to try what some people to try to defend both belts? That has been brought up in the past. Conor, the most recent one, he wasn't able to do it. He's never defended anyone. Would you even consider that, or would you just pick one and go with it?
I think we have to figure that out. I may have to just choose which belt I'm going to keep and see what happens. But again, my career now is down to 11 months. So I don't know if I even have time to defend both titles after I fight Stipe Miocic.
So when you say 11 months, that's going to be it. Walk away and you're done.
Yep, I walk up into the sunset, and when I'm not calling the fights, I sit on a media row with you guys,
So when you
typing on my computer.
why did you promise your wife? What was it that makes 11 months the care the time?
My family, we thought 40 was a good age. I always said 40 was a good age, and also I've done everything. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff in the sport, and I care about my legacy, man. I don't want to be hanging around and then losing fights. Like I've stood across the cage from some of the best fighters in the history of this sport, and I don't want to end up in a position where I'm just kind of fighting the fight, on the prelims. And I've always been in the main event, co-main event, at the very top of the card where the energy is insane. I don't. That's part of what I love about the sport, and my legacy means something. Kevin, a lot of our combat heroes go out on their back, right? If Ali goes out on his back, it's gonna happen to all of us. So I'd rather try to go before that happens to me.
I love that. I love going out not only on top, but with your money and all your wits about you.
Yep.
That's what I want to see all fighters do. But what
Yeah.
I have covered fighting long enough to know, DC, that there's always a lure. You retire and you're gone a year, and John Jones' fight is there, or whoever the next guy is there, and hey, I want to fight DC, and it brings you out of retirement. If you retire, is there going to be? Could you ever foresee yourself coming out of retirement?
I'm already starting to set things up that are going to keep me so busy that I won't be able to come out of retirement.
All right.
And I'm just going to coach. I'm going to coach wrestling. I'm going to coach the guys in my gym. I'm just going to